Jakarta, July 2025. An Indonesian rising star diplomat was found dead inside a locked room, his head wrapped in plastic, sealed with yellow tape, his body marked with bruises. The CCTV camera had been shifted. His phone is missing. At his funeral, a mysterious package arrived. Inside were styrofoam shapes of a flower, a star, and a heart. Is it a secret code? A warning from powerful elites? This is the chilling case of Arya Daru Pangayunan, a 39-year-old Indonesian diplomat devoted to rescuing human trafficking victims, especially Indonesian migrants trapped in Cambodia. Just weeks before leaving for a prestigious new post at Indonesia's embassy in Finland, Arya was found dead. Police declared it suicide, but the evidence tells something far more sinister. Was Arya's death truly suicide, or a conspiracy to silence him? Let's trace Arya's last hours based on police official reports, CCTV footage, witness statements, and sources relevant to the case. Monday, July 7, 2025, morning to afternoon. During the day, Arya worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs head office. Colleagues describe him as cheerful, full of excitement for his upcoming post in Helsinki. He had already arranged passports and tickets for his wife and their 2 children, and spoke eagerly about residence permits, good schools, and the fresh start that awaited them. 12:43 p.m., Arya texted his wife, saying that 2 co-workers from the consular department, named Farah and Dion, had invited him to lunch at Post Block restaurant to discuss work tasks. Farah was married to a Navy officer who commanded a warship. Dion, meanwhile, was later described by police only as a co-worker. Nothing more. Strange. Why so vague? At Post Block restaurant, the 3 of them discussed strategies to rescue Indonesians trapped abroad. Afterwards, they returned to the office. 5 p.m. after work, Arya messaged his wife again, telling her he was heading to Grand Indonesia Mall, one of Jakarta's most exclusive shopping centers. 5:52 p.m. arrival at Grand Indonesia Mall. Arya went to the mall alone, shopping for apparel, underwear, and winter clothing in preparation for Finland's cold weather. Shop assistants noticed nothing unusual in his behavior. But then, during the night, mall CCTV revealed something different. Arya was suddenly seen walking with Farah and Dion, the same colleagues he had met for lunch. It looked as if they had caught up with him, or perhaps followed him. Around 9 p.m., Arya left the mall alone, waiting for a taxi at the mall lobby. Farah and Dion stayed behind. The taxi driver recalled something strange. At first, Arya asked to go to Soekarno-Hatta International Airport, but midway, he suddenly changed his mind and redirected the driver to his office. What made him change his destination so abruptly? 9:17 p.m., Arya sent his wife a WhatsApp message. I is short for sayang or honey in Indonesian. But Arya had never called his wife by that name. Was this message really meant for her, or someone else? Is it a code? His wife, confused and upset, replied, "Who are you texting?" WhatsApp chat showed just one tick, as if it was turned off immediately. Minutes later, at 9:18 p.m., Arya's phone went offline. The phone has never been found. 9:43, Arya arrived at his office and went to the 12th floor rooftop, a restricted area with a helipad. CCTV captured him pacing nervously, peering over the edge as if checking whether he was being followed. He stayed on the rooftop for about 1 hour. 11:11 p.m., he left the rooftop through the emergency exit, leaving behind his shopping bags on the stairwell, the one he bought in the mall before. 11:23 p.m., Arya returned to his rented room in Menteng, not far from the office. CCTV showed him stepping outside briefly, scanning the area and surroundings. then returning inside, a stove making sure no one had followed him to home. 11:24 p.m. In light rain, Arya left his room again, this time carrying a large trash bag. Witnesses said he had never done this before. Usually, the building's guard collected trash in the morning. Why would Arya dispose of a bag himself in the rain late at night? Was it really trash? Or something else? 12:27 a.m. Arya's wife, who lived with their children 600 kilometers away in Yogyakarta City, grew worried. She had not heard from him in hours. His wife had a routine of phone calling Arya every night before bedtime. Around 12:30 a.m., she called the building's guard, asking him to check the Arya's room. The guard knocked the door, no response. He then reassured Arya's wife that he was probably asleep. Turned out, the wife also contacted local police station, Police Menteng 7 times that night, but no one picked up the phone call. 5:20 a.m., the guard checked again at dawn. Still nothing, he assumed Arya was sleeping. In Jakarta, the sun rises at around 6 a.m. every day. 7:30 a.m. By this time, Arya had not appeared for work when he usually does. The guard and another tenant, being asked by the guard to accompany him, decided to break into his room. But before doing so, the guard repositioned the CCTV camera to face the room's doorway. A strange move. Who ordered him to do that? Inside the room, Arya was found lying as if peacefully asleep, his head tightly wrapped in plastic and bound with yellow tape. His body was neatly covered with a blanket, the pillow undisturbed, the door locked from the inside. There was no sign of a struggle, and forensic checks confirmed no traces of sperm or other bodily fluids. Later in the afternoon, at Cipto Mangunkusumo Hospital, Arya's family members noted disturbing details on his body. His lips appeared pale white, with dark edges. 2 long marks ran across his neck, and bruises were visible on his elbows, triceps, and upper arms around the biceps area. Wednesday, 9 July, Arya's body was flown to Yogyakarta for Islamic burial. That night, during Quranic prayers ritual, a brown envelope arrived at home. Inside, foam shapes of a flower, a star, and a heart. No sender. At this day, news of the young diplomat's death had not yet widely reached the public. Around 3 weeks later, on July 29, Jakarta's police chief announced suicide due to suffocation. No other people involved. 24 witnesses had been interviewed, no one suspicious. No drugs or poison were found in his body. A roll of tape in the room matched the one used on his head. According to police, Arya's suicide was the result of psychological stress and mental disorder. Arya had contacted a UK mental health group years earlier for stress support, but police only released brief Indonesian translation of Arya's emails to the group from 2013 and 2021, never the full English originals. Experts could not properly assess his mental state using the improper information. Sources close to Arya painted a different picture. He was indeed sensitive and introverted, but also deeply dedicated to his work. The stress he carried is a normal one, came not from clinical depression, but from the emotional toll of rescuing exploited Indonesian migrant victims, feeling their pain as his own. Police displayed condoms and lubricant as evidence found in the room, yet never explained their relevance. Some floated the theory of a sexual masochistic act gone wrong, but critics dismiss it as a fabricated narrative meant to cover deeper inconsistencies. Also, even though his laptop browser was linked to his WhatsApp chat, but the messages, police said, could not be shown to the public. The police never gave Arya's family any updates on the investigation, as it should be. All in all, the police official statement only raised more questions than answers. Far from suicidal motive, Arya was actively preparing for a prestigious Finland assignment. His passports and tickets for his family were already booked. Thus are hardly the signs of a man preparing to end his life. Despite the police ruling, sources point to key mysteries. The missing phone, last seen at Grand Indonesia, switched off at 9:18 p.m., never recovered. It could hold crucial chats or threats. The wrong WhatsApp message, "I" was not how he addressed his wife, who was the real recipient. The sudden taxi change to airport, then back to office. Why? The rooftop, why pace alone, peering over the edge at night, why stayed there over an hour? The trash bag, why carry it out in the rain so late in the middle of the night? His wife's calls to office at 12:30 a.m. seem unusually early for alarm of missing people. The guard CCTV adjustment in the morning, the wife said it wasn't her instruction, who ordered him to change the CCTV angle. The foam symbols, flower, star, heart. What was the meaning of the shapes from the mysterious package? Despite the official police conclusion, Arya's case continued to spark widespread doubt and demands for reinvestigations. The Indonesian public, human rights institutions, and lawmakers have all called for deeper scrutiny. A criminologist has described Arya's death as unnatural, pointing to the body's overly neat condition, rare and genuine suicides, which are typically sudden and chaotic. The tape and plastic wrap look far too smooth and precise for a self-inflicted act, especially to cover his entire head and then neatly wrap himself in a blanket. Criminologist analysis notes that suicide victims usually choose faster, more direct methods. Wrapping the whole head is a slow process that would require extraordinary breath-holding and self-control, something highly improbable. In suffocation death, the body almost always reacts with violent reflexes, panic, thrashing, resistance. Under those conditions, it would be nearly impossible for someone to wrap themselves in a blanket so neatly. This raises another disturbing question. Was Arya first sedated into unconsciousness before being suffocated? Arya's family firmly rejects the police conclusion, insisting he didn't die by suicide. They have submitted new evidence to the Indonesian National Police, now under review amid mounting public pressure. Public trust in Indonesian police investigations is already at a historic low, scarred by past scandals. From the General Ferdi Sambo case, to the police manipulation of Vina Cirebon murder, to the famous cyanide coffee case of Mirna Salihin. Time and time again, Indonesian police investigation have been manipulated to shape powerful interests. Altogether, these developments suggest the truth is far from settled, keeping the shadow of conspiracy very much alive. Arya's past assignment against human trafficking placed him at the heart of Southeast Asia's darkest secrets. Human trafficking networks, illegal gambling syndicates, modern-day slavery, brutal torture, and even organ harvesting. Why do so many Indonesians leave the country in the first place? Because of scarce job opportunities and low wages at home. These economical reasons makes them easy prey for false promises of high-paying job scams abroad. Tens of thousands of Indonesians have been lured into scam companies in Myanmar and Cambodia, forced to work in online fraud and illegal gambling operations. Once trapped, many are treated like slaves. They are given impossible revenue targets for online romance scams and gambling fraud, targeting fellow Indonesian market. If they fail to meet the revenue target, the punishment is severe. Daily torture, sexual assault, or being sold from one scam company to another. Each worker traded for $2,000 to $4,000 US, like human property. For those who beg to go home, their families are told to pay ransoms of $8,000 to $10,000 per head. If they cannot pay, the victims are sold again, or worse, their organs harvested for the black market. During 2024 to 2025, shocking reports emerged. Thousands of Indonesians trapped in Myanmar and Cambodia. Many tortured, hundreds missing, some found dead with their organs stolen. Yet, despite the scale of the crisis, Indonesian officials seem unwilling or unable to act. Police officers, military soldiers, government officials, and businessmen were remote to be entangled with the trafficking mafia. Investigations told victims' family were left without justice, and the dirty money kept flowing. Arya stood in the middle of it all. He rescued victims and may have seen firsthand how the system was protected from within. The mafia operated from the shadows, shielded by dolls and power. That's why his new assignment in Finland mattered so much. This is a country with a free press and strong institution. Could have given him the safety to reveal what he knew. Arya seemed prepared to fight, not to give up. All signs pointed not to a man planning his death, but to one ready to expose the truth. This last part we will talking about a theory. Let's treat it like a detective fiction, piecing together symbols, clues, and unanswered questions. Some interpret the symbols this way. The yellow tape and plastic around Arya's head is a symbol to keep your mouth shut. If you reveal the secret, you will die. We must be aware that other ministry officials may also hold the same knowledge Arya carried. It's a warning: if they follow Arya's path, they will share his fate. Farah and Dion worked as consular officers at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, handling Indonesian migrants abroad. But questions remain. Were they connected to Arya Daru's death? Could they be linked to the human trafficking mafia inside the government officials involved in the flow of bribery money? Police gave little detail about them. Dion was only described as a co-worker, and Farah's role was barely mentioned. Why so vague? Were the police trying to hide their real identity, or even cover up their possible involvement? Proof of trafficking networks and million-dollar bribery could implicate soldiers, police, government officials, and businessmen. Arya's new assignment in Helsinki might have given him a stage to expose it all. That's why some suggest he had to be silenced before leaving Indonesia in the coming weeks. The mysterious package in his bureau, flowers for fake tears, is a mockery for Arya's family. A star is the common symbol of police or military rank, probably hinting at elite officers' involvement. A heart is the symbol of someone close, perhaps a betrayal from a lover. What if Farah, married to a Navy officer, was used as a lover bait, a way for military intelligence to monitor Arya's movement? If Farah refused the assignment, her husband's career could be destroyed. Some speculate Arya's WhatsApp message "I," the short version of sayang or love, was actually meant for Farah. Perhaps while at Grand Indonesia Mall, Arya began noticing strange behavior from Farah and Dion. Might be realizing he was in danger. He then ditched his phone to avoid being tracked. Maybe the taxi ride attempt to airport was an escape back to Yogyakarta, where his big family lived. But then he turned back to his office, possibly remembered to retrieve or secure sensitive documents. The late-night trash run, maybe it wasn't trash at all, but evidence smuggled out in the last attempt to protect it. Even Arya's wife X drew suspicion. Why did she urgently call the police after only just 2-3 hours of no contact with Arya? And the pressure to guard to check Arya's room in the middle of the night. Does she know something? Why she never revealed herself to the public eye even once after his spouse's death? Is it for her own safety or what? And the building guard? His odd behavior during the found of Arya's dead body in the morning, plus the adjusted CCTV angles done by him, suggest he may have been more than just a guard, perhaps part of a cover-up conspiracies. Then, if it is true, who killed Arya? Some sources claim a man resembling a military guy had moved into the same boarding house just few months before the incident. Probably the same guy who accompanied the building guard during the morning raid. During this time of Arya's death in the midnight, when the CCTV conveniently failed to capture the Arya's room door, someone could have sneaked inside, killed him. The crime scene was then staged. Plastic and tape wrapped in the head to suggest self-suicide. Condoms and lubricants planted inside the room to push for a sexual masochism gone wrong, as alternative narrative to deceive the public. It was probably the work of a professional assassin. All in all, These mysteries leave one haunting question. Was Arya's death truly a suicide from mental depression? Or an elite conspiracy to protect billions of dirty money